Now let's do a little chatbot that gives a different response depending on the user input. Now to keep it relatively simple, let's use like numbers. What I mean is something like this. You know, like we can say, oh, hey, how would you rate your day on a scale of, you can pick any scale really, 1 to 10 or 1 to 5. And then depending on what the user says, the chatbot will give a different response. So let's try that. Okay, so we're going to write a function. I have to say write chatbot. Create, how about that? Create chatbot that provides basically different feedback depending on how the user's day is going. Okay. Look at that. See, I tried to shorten it to one line. All right, so we'll start the DEF. Now I'm trying to think of a name here to make this a little indicative. So I don't know, we can call this depending on the user's day, a day chatbot, day rating chatbot maybe. Okay, no input. Now, in order to make the chatbot more conversational, we can use more lines, right? It doesn't have to just be, how was your day? It could lead in, right? So, we could ask for the name. We could even call the welcome bot if you wrote the welcome bot chat. If you didn't, though, you can ask for a name. So name equals input. What is your name? And then we do the new line, \in. Okay, now we have the name. And now let's maybe ask a question about the day. So next we can go ahead with how about first let's do a print, like, because I want to try to keep it conversational. Print something, about in connection with the user. So it is fabulous. We did this one before. I like fabulous though. It's fabulous to meet you. Name. Now I forgot to write f string. So note that the difference is when you put those curly brackets in, they actually stay red. So if you put the f string in front, now it changes. Okay. Now I want to do another line asking the user about the day. So let's say rating equals input. How would you rate your day on a scale of 1 to 10? And then we could also add, it's kind of nice to add the user's name in here. So I think I'm gonna do another f string and put name in again, right? Because it makes it a little more personable. Get the f string in there. Okay, ran off a little bit. It's okay. It truly doesn't matter with code. Okay, and so we get the rating, but now we want to respond differently depending on the actual rating. So I picked a 1 to 10 scale. You can pick a different scale. And so maybe you want to choose the number of responses in advance. I think in this case, I'll try to do at least 3, so 1 for a high, 1 for medium, and 1 for a low. Okay, so again, 3 different clauses using if, else if, and else. So if rating, do recall that when you enter input, it is a string. So I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is assign rating to the integer rating. That should convert it into an int. And now we'll say if rating greater than or equal to, it's kind of cleaner not to always write the equal than sign. So if I want to say greater than or equal to 8, well, that's the same as greater than 7 using integers. So if rating is greater than 7, I pick what I print, right? You're designing your own chatbot. You pick what to print, okay? Make this a fabulous chatbot. Fabulous. I feel the same. Does that make sense here? Yeah, because it's having a great day. Right? Conversational. Ending the conversation. Okay. Elif, meaning else if, rating is so 8, 9, and 10. We'll make the middle ones say 4, 5, 6, and 7. So greater than 3. And then, to think about kind of what's the purpose of the chatbot? Is it just to reinforce what the other person is feeling? I don't know. I mean, we can have fun with it. But, it can be worth thinking about these things when design because, right, what's the purpose? Is it just, maybe it's to make the user laugh, or maybe it's to make the user feel good, or maybe it's to be encouraging. So in this case, we'll say, let's try to make the user feel better. Maybe you should play with kittens. It may not work. Okay, and finally for the lowest ratings, final else, don't need to say anything about the rating, just all other cases. And then we can print out what? For a low day, say, how about this? At least you are sentient. Okay. AI is not. the chatbot is not. It's pronounced sentient, I believe, not sentient. And there's some phrase about sentient beings, meaning beings with consciousness. Okay. Maybe one day with AI, we'll see. So there's a fun little day rating chatbot. I put this / new string in here. I think I may need it here too. I want to do it with the inputs. Okay. And then when you do the print, it does its own new line, so those should be okay. All right, let's give it a whirl. And then try it out. So day rating chatbot, you need the parentheses. Shift enter. But I'm pausing for a moment because I know it can be hard to code simultaneously, especially when there's this much code. And especially if you're not just copying the code and you're thinking about what you do, how you're doing it. So I do move a little fast in that sense. This is being pre-recorded, so of course you can pause it if you need more time. I think it's kind of enjoyable that we've run them together. I think writing the functions is the main thing. And even for me, running the functions is a chance to then go back and correct errors. That's going to happen, okay? You should never be discouraged if you get errors. Quite the opposite, you should be encouraged because that is how you learn. You get errors and you correct them. One of my favorite things about computer science is that you only need to get it right once. You could be working on a program and get it wrong 10,000 times in a row, and when that program is done and you get it right, it's finished and it works and it can change the world. Okay. Now I'm going to try the day rating chatbot. Here we go. Press return. Shift enter, I mean to run the cell. What is your name? Okay. So today I will be, I know as Mr. Wade earlier, it's kind of fun to create these alter egos, isn't it? I'll be the machine. Believe it or not, I did have that nickname once. All right, press return. It's fabulous to meet you, the machine. How would you rate your day on a scale of 1 to 10, the machine? I think that, see, when you run it, go back and make changes like, the machine's a little awkward phrasing, but if it was a name like Albert, then you get a period after it would be needed there. So I'm going to go back up here to the code and add a little period. Okay. And so I'll just pick, say for me today, I'm feeling like, I don't know, between 7 and 8. It's kind of fun to do that. I say, hey, what will it do if I pick 7.5, right? Oh, it didn't work. Interesting. Let's see. Didn't convert int. Oh, I guess because maybe we need to convert it to a float first. See, it's worth going in and doing that then, I think, right? Because you want your functions to be robust. Now, there are a lot of things you can do to make robust functions. And what I mean by that is you want to sometimes predict what a user might do to break it and work on preventing it. So that's kind of cool that it's interesting it doesn't just convert to 7. But if we first convert it to a float, right, that would convert the string 7.5, it should, into the float 7.5. And then we could convert it to the integer, which should be 7. Okay, so I'm going to run this again and try the day rating chatbot again. So what is your name? My name is Josephine. It's fabulous to meet you, Josephine. How would you rate your scale on a How would you rate your day on a scale of 1 to 10, Josephine? Again, I want to try the 7.5. And it says maybe you should play with kittens, right? Okay. I will give you my one, it's kind of funny, I think. One comment here to improve it is there's no way for the user, the person who's like, using the program, to know if they actually do anything with that number. Like it could just be random, because you could say maybe you should play with kittens no matter what. So it's nice to actually reinforce it when saying it, right? So maybe I could go back on these and change them all and add in the rating. I think you want to do that. You want to let the user know that you've heard and understood them. So I'll go back and make this one change. At this point, by the way, we're writing something that's fairly sophisticated. When you write programs, keep going back and making changes to make them what feels like just right to you. Don't be satisfied with the first go around. Sometimes with code, yeah, it's nice if there are no errors. That's the first one, great. But then you can look at what can I do to improve it. So let's see. In this one, fabulous, and then I'll put we need to make this an F string. You see why F strings can be nice. Nope, by the way, you could just use an F string without anything in there. But I want to use the variable rating. Fab, or maybe it's an 8 of whatever the number is. An 8 is fabulous. I feel the same. Or 9 or 10. Okay, so I'm going to go back and include rating in each of these. How about this one? F here. You are a. It says like, yeah, rate. Well, you are, whatever. And then rating. And then I'm going to put a question mark there. Maybe you should play with kittens. And then finally this one. It's kind of fun because like when it comes to the words that you use, you can try to be creative. So you want to say it somehow, where should we say it in here? How about a rating question? It could be worse. At least are essential. So I modified it. Now I'm going to give it one more run through. Okay, so let's see. We got a day rating chatbot. Here we go. What is your name? Okay. My name is Kaylin. It's fabulous to meet you, Kaylin. How would you rate your day on a scale of 1 to 10, Kaylin? I will give it an 8. Oh, 8 is, see, again, I'm a little question, right? Because it should be an with E. An 8 is fabulous. I feel the same. Sorry, I don't leave stuff if it's not just right. So I'm going to say, with that, I'm not going to use A. Yeah, I'll just take out the A. Okay, one last one through. Day rating chatbot. What is your name? Casey. Let's return. It's fabulous to meet you, Casey. How would you rate your day on a scale of 1 to 10, Casey? Maybe it's a rough day for Casey. We're going to say a 3. Hopefully not, but 3, it could be worse, at least our extension. There you go. That's a chatbot that I like. I'm not going to go through and do all the options. I encourage you to, though, because you want to test your functions and make sure that they work. But there's kind of a cool little chatbot. So you're seeing here that with the Python, kind of just really Python fundamentals, you can quickly leverage what you know, start to have a little fun, and even hopefully brighten someone else's day.